Hello fellow Wyvern Generals of Burn, and welcome back to the Let's Play of FE6 Hard Mode Boar's Solo. Though I guess technically this is the last chapter of Boar's Solo, seeing as I get two other very good units to use next chapter, but yeah, what to say about Chapter 7? It's a long one, as you can probably tell from the video length. I always speed up the footage by 2x speed, so yes, this did in fact take me over an hour to get through, and it wasn't an easy hour. I would have hated to have to reset, so thankfully nothing horrible happened, though I'm not too satisfied with how it turned out, though hey, at least it did turn out. I was not about to replay just because I lost a just one unit. You'll see who I lost, I guess. But yeah. Turn 1, I set up the turn 2 Zealot and Trek recruitment just to get them as soon as possible, so I can get them to safety and have Boars fight as many things as possible. The enemy layout of this map is absurdly annoying because of how many forests there are. Half the enemies in the map have javelins, so Boars has to equip a javelin if we want to actually retaliate against things. And then the Wyverns are absurdly tanky. I have to use the Silver Lance if I want to even come close to one-rounding them. Still doesn't one-round even with the Silver Lance. But yeah, I guess Fate did not want us to have killing edges because the killing edge seems to bring death to those who carry it in this playthrough. Maybe it's a cursed sword, who knows. But yeah, we want to get everybody out of enemy range, so that only Boars is attacked. Because Boars and the Paladins are the only two units who can, like, actually take a few hits. Everybody else just gets pretty owned. But yeah, now they surround Boars, which gets pretty annoying. I probably should have equipped a Javelin. But oh no, not Merlinus. It is kind of a pain to have Merlinus get attacked, because that means that guy... We're gonna have to move everybody out of his range as well. But yeah, we basically just hug edges of the map with all our non-Boars units for this whole chapter. Or at least for the next, like, 20 turns, basically. Probably more than 20 turns, actually. But yeah, in most playthroughs, you don't really have to worry about the turn 10, 15, and 20 reinforcements, but when your only damage dealer is Boars, yeah, you're gonna run into all 3 waves of those and have to deal with them, which is a little bit of a pain. But ultimately, it isn't a ginormous deal, even if it does cost someone their life. But yeah, here we just want to kill the Wyvern ASAP, so we Gans Lance, and it actually does hit, thankfully. Boars loves missing his 70% hits. Though, I can't really blame FE6 RNG for that, because in true hit, 70% hit is like 76 or so, if I remember correctly, so it's not a huge difference between true hit and 1RN. For most hit rates, it's really just when it gets less than 20 and higher than 80 that true hit starts being decently impactful. But even then, not so much that every 80 will hit, or every 90 will hit even. But I think I've ranted about this before. But yeah, the healers, the physic guys as well, are just such a pain. Because when only Boars can kill things, they're always going to be out of his range, because he'll be walled off by all the other enemies. Constantly have to check enemy ranges, so that I can keep people out. It's either this turn or the next I do something really dumb. Yeah, it is this turn. So the wyverns, 2 of them, are activated when you're within 2 turns worth of their range, which I completely forgot. So here I move people forward when I really shouldn't. Oh, and the game sort of semi-froze there for a second, but it fixed itself. But yeah. So this does end up triggering the other wyvern, which is a bit of a pain. But oh well. But yeah, Boars doesn't even 2-round KO knights with a javelin. Enemy bulk is just absolutely ridiculous at this point in the game. There's a reason why this is considered to be the hardest chapter in the game. It's because enemy bulk is absurd, enemy damage is really high. Overall, enemy quality is super high, and there are also a ton of enemies to deal with. But I somehow managed to pull through with just boars, so I think I did a decent job at this map. Even if I did do stupid stuff, like bait the wyvern before I should have. Yeah, here I consider moving Shauna up, but then I'm like, she gets 1 shot, that'd be really dumb. So I decide to use Sue and Marcus? No, Jarrett. Sue and Jarrett as bait. So I have put myself in a pretty bad spot here, but thankfully Boris has been freed up a little in terms of where he can go. But yeah, Sue on a forest, dodgy enough to dodge 2 out of 3 hits, so it's good for her. Yeah, here we try and kill Physic Man, but we miss, so we can't, because both Physic Men are conveniently on forests when I am able to actually attack them. But yeah, here I'm just trying to get out of Wyvern Man's range, so that he'll go for boars, and we can actually deal with him. I think Boars at this point is super close to running out of javelins. If he hasn't already, I haven't been paying much attention, but he started the map with 40 javelin uses, and he's already basically out. Because enemy bulk is just so absurd. Thankfully I'm able to actually kill a priest, which halves the amount of healing enemies are able to do. But yeah, here I'm just trying to move on by as much as possible, because the turn 10 reinforcements are coming up really, really soon. Chlorine actually got magic. Crazy, right? But yeah, the turn 10, 15, 20 reinforcements, they're not a huge deal, except for one of them, which has a Silver Lance, and he hits really hard. He has like 25 attack, so he is doing actual damage to boars, though. He's not doubling boars, and is in fact getting doubled by boars, so he ultimately isn't a huge issue, but he is a big threat to everybody who's not boars. Yeah, here I'm just trying to get by as much as humanly possible. I'm gonna have to cram myself into a corner. I think I might have been able to go north and avoid them that way, but I'm not positive, so I just try and go for the safer bet. I guess it's safer. Probably not the best play it could have made, but it's whatever. Boars actually kills that guy in enemy phase, which is really nice. And the Physic Man is gonna be really, really annoying, like usual. But yeah, now we need to get everybody out of his range. Or not his range, but the Cavalier Reinforcements range. Here there's nowhere super safe for Noah to go, but he will be out of enemy range for this turn. We put Jarrett on a forest because he is pretty tanky. And Yasu dies because I forgot she was damaged. Which lost us our other killing edge, which is 650 gold. So sad. I say that, but we do get plenty of things to sell in this chapter. Long bows, for some godforsaken reason, sell for 1,000, and short bows sell for like 700 something, if I remember correctly, so that's a good chunk of change we get. But yeah, here Boars is just gonna try and kill things, but not be capable of doing so because enemies are either on a forest or he just misses either way. Here I decide to Silver Lance a Cav, but backfires because he misses one. So that guy will probably just get healed. But yeah, enemies are just gonna run away, use vulneraries, throw javelins, basically do everything possible to annoy me. I think that was the Silver Lance guy who I was able to kill on enemy face. That was pretty lucky. Or no, it's this guy. This guy's the Silver Lance guy. Yeah, here I opt to put Jarrett behind Boars, and then Vulnerary up, so that Boars is able to heal and Jarrett ends up being protected in the same maneuver. It's an interesting one, I'd say. But yeah, here we gotta move our Shauna and our Noah so that they're not in enemy range. Boars got a crit, which is neat. Five heals left on that physic, which is 5 too many if you ask me. However, FE6 AI behaves really weirdly with healers. Even after their staff breaks, enemies will just surround them, and it's really bizarre. Because they're like, please heal us, even though they either have a physic, which is a ranged heal, or they just don't have a staff at all. It's really, really strange behavior. But yeah, Boars, his one redeeming quality is his obscene bulk, so enemies won't kill him. Not at a rapid pace anyways. Mages are a decent threat to him, though he can one-round them. And then enemies with steels or silvers can do damage, just not a ton. Yeah, all the wounded enemies are just surrounding that physic person for no real reason. Yeah, here Jarrett is put into a pretty tight spot. But at least he's able to corner an archer here, which puts him out of commission for the whole map. The next 10 minutes, I should say. So that's probably how long it'll take for Boris to actually kill everything. Yeah, really not a lot going on right now. We're in a half-safe spot, though Jarrett is basically on a timer here, because he probably will run out of vulns. Here we're forced to discard a lance on Noah, because otherwise he'd have to enter combat. He'd probably do 0 damage against the knight, and technically it wouldn't count as attacking if he did 0 damage, but I decided, for the sake of the run, I'll discard that lance. Yeah, 1 physic use left, even though, as you'll see, the enemies still keep around him, even after his physic breaks, which is really, really weird, and I'm not exactly sure why FE6 AI is like that. It just is. It's special. Yeah, it's turn 20, so we opt to just wait. Because that's probably the best position for Boris to be in, because he can't be attacked by a dude in a forest, or at least the Silver Lance dude can't be in a forest and attack him, so that's optimal. Here we use the last vulner on Jarrett. Zealot, whatever you want to call him, really. Yeah, here we Gant's Lance, Silver Lance Man, so now Boris is effectively safe. Nothing can really kill him, besides the 1 Wyvern, and I think the northern reinforcements. There are some mages among those, but those are the last threatening enemies, and half of them haven't even spawned yet. But yeah, just like the Chapter 6 reinforcements that spawn from where you came from, this one is triggered by crossing a line, though it's not with all units, it's just with 1 unit. If you cross the big gate area, I shouldn't say the gate, but the gate and its wall, if you go past those, they will spawn. Though we're not going to be doing that for like 20 more turns, because we have a ton of enemies to deal with, 1 at a time. But yeah, Saul is basically just in a corner, praying nothing goes for him. But thanks to FE6 AI being very weird, nothing goes for him. But yeah, here we just have a setup where things can attack Trek, because I want Trek to get hit, because it's just free heal EXP and weapon ranks. I've gone on about this a lot, how getting weapon EXP is really important on our healers so that we can start using Warp once we hit Chapter 14. And also getting Chlorine to Physic rank would be nice, even if it takes a year. But yeah, the guy who attacks Noah every turn has a Steel Lance equipped. He has like 20 hit on him. So Noah should be fine, as long as he doesn't get hit back to back to back, because Shauna has Vulnerary, he has Vulnerary. We're giving weapons over to Chlorine so that she can give those to boars. But yeah, all the enemies are basically set to be passive now for some weird reason. The AI in this game is just... Sometimes once you're out of their range, they just start being passive and just don't chase you. Even though sometimes they do. I don't know if it's deliberate, if it's a bug, or if it's just AI being AI and being big smart. Your boars is almost topped off, but not quite. FE6, which is very nice to have. Even though I think it's B rank, so nobody can use it yet. But yeah, some of the dudes who were once passive now go for boars, some of them just stay still. Again, I don't know why, but FE6 AI. And then that guy just runs away. Like, what? Why did he run away there? Nobody can heal him. It's really weird. I wonder if they're still programmed to think they're going to be healed by the priest, but if so, why did that guy who was at 5 HP attack boars? None of it really makes much sense. Maybe some AI wizard could explain to me the true intelligence of the FE6 AI. And then here, the enemies just randomly run away from boars, which makes you think, oh, they must be going for Saul. That's really weird. But, so I do send someone over there to rescue Saul, if that is the case, but then no, they just go for boars again. It's really bizarre. Very unreliable AI, but I guess in a way, the AI being unreliable makes the game more difficult, for better or for worse. I can't really say which. But yeah, 46 minutes later, and we're able to actually go out of hiding. Because we have very little units left to deal with. Sadly, we did lose Sue, so we do miss out on a bit of money. Because Shin's shortbow could sell for a decent chunk of change, but it's not a huge deal. We were probably going Ilya anyways, since it's not like any character is gaining a level, and Ilya's the default route. So by both Sue and Shin dying, it gives me a safety net that even if the Pegasus Knights die, we're still going Ilya, and we can still get a Malta because Jarrett is alive. Oh yeah, speaking of Jarrett, I looked at the Fire Emblem Wikia for this chapter, just out of curiosity to see if it had any big brain, high IQ plays, and it had a summary of Jarrett, and it said, Jarrett has, I don't remember the exact words, but it said he has very low bases and very low growths. And like, yeah, I could see that about his growths, yeah, but bases? Excuse me? Have you seen his bases? He's just an upgraded Marcus. Like, are you telling me Marcus's bases are super bad? Like, what? Hello? Like, a level 20 Jarrett on average isn't far off from a promoted at level 10, level 20 promoted Noah. Like, they're virtually the same unit. Noah would just be... he'd have a bit more skill, more speed, and that'd be it, basically. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, this guy is a red gem, which in this game sells for 3,000 gold, even though in every other game it's in, it sells for 2,500. Which is kind of bizarre, but whatever. I definitely won't complain about getting an extra 500 gold out of it. But yeah, here I try and figure out a way to steal it this turn. So I'm like, what do? Roy's inventory is full, so I'll use Mr. Trek. And then boom, we go for the Silver Lance kill, and Boars misses, like usual. So we have to do a lot of rescue strats. Rescue is so broken in this game. I don't know how rescuing came to be. I know it first existed in Thracia, because capturing enemies is basically rescuing, so I guess IS decided, hey, if you can capture enemies, why not be able to rescue your own dudes? And yeah, I guess that's how it came to be. Or did it? Honestly, I might just be saying misinformation here. I don't even remember if rescuing was in Thracia. I'm almost positive it is, because capturing is literally rescuing enemies. But if not, then I'm just really dumb. It has to be, right? It only makes sense. Then again, if Thracia did invent capturing, then I'm pretty sure Kaga would pull some big brain stuff, like make the AI able to capture its own units. I mean, rescue its own units and put them out of danger. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, the map's essentially over now. We've killed everything except for the bias and the reinforcement squad to the north. That sucks and is almost no threat to Boars. Besides, like, the 2 Thunder Mages in it. Though, thankfully, Boars is very lucky, so they don't even have crit on him. Because he's just a god like that. But yeah, Hero Crest sells for a good chunk of change. Like, it's basically a blue gem. And now we buy, like, 20 javelins. 25-ish, I think. Like, literally just buy so many. So that we never, ever run out. And by never, ever, I mean probably not... We'll probably run out by chapter 15, is my guess. Buy a couple Slim Lances, because they help with killing some bosses. They are our most accurate option. And I buy a ton of irons, just because irons are the most cost-efficient, and money is, I wouldn't say limited in this game, but you have things you do want to buy. Here we do shopping. And yeah, I don't know who made the longbow cost 2,000, so it sells for 1,000, but they were clearly crazy. Because the longbow in this game is just awful. Longbow is awful in all of GBA Fire Emblem. Like, whoa, 2 to 3 range at the cost of having literally no stats. It has like 50-something hit, 5 might. Why would I ever use that? Here we buy some keys, because they might be handy in chapters like Chapter 12, where we'll only have 3 combat units, but have to split up if we want to get all the treasure. Although, speaking of Chapter 12, we're only going to have 1 Restore Staff and 3 units. So that might get a little sketchy, but we'll deal with it. If I can deal with Chapter 7, I can deal with Chapter 12, no problem. Yeah, Boars misses in true Boars fashion. Can't have a Boars chapter without him missing half his javelins. Though really that's the fault of FE6 javelins just having no hit at all. Yeah, we're nearing the home stretch now. These are the last enemies before Tobias, and then Tobias is a cakewalk. Because, well, he's an armor knight who's not boars, and therefore he's no threat to boars. Because boars, as we all know, is the strongest armor knight in all of Fire Emblem. Here we just sell the rapier, because rapiers, I don't know who values the rapier as much as they value a longbow. Like, one of those seems a little bit better than the other, and it's not the longbow. But, who knows. Longbow's expensive. As expensive as a weapon that's effective against 2 unit types. Although in this game, effective damage is whack, and as you probably know, horse effectiveness is literally only effective against cavaliers and paladins. I don't know who designed that, and who was like, only 2, or only 1 horse class, basically, because paladin is just promoted cav. Yeah, only those 2 classes should be weak to horse effectiveness. But yeah, I always thought it was funny that Boars had a boss quote with Tobias, even though it does kind of make sense. But it's just kind of goofy that he is a boss quote, while Roy doesn't have a boss quote with, like, any bosses besides, like, Zephiel and I don't know who else Roy's a boss quote with, because who attacks bosses with Roy? But yeah, at this point in the game, Boars has more boss quotes than any other character in the game. I think that's pretty impressive. Good job, Boars. You're number 1. Even if you're not number 1 at hitting things, you're still number 1 in our hearts. And boom, dead Tobias. These people are powerful, or you should say, this person, because Boars is the powerful one. And I guess Marcus and Jarrett are powerful tanks. Powerful people. Humans. Or maybe they're not humans, maybe they're living, breathing creatures. But yeah, that concludes this major pain of a chapter. So, yeah, Chapter 7, doable with just Boars. So, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all for the next one, where we recruit 2 shiny new units. Thanks for watching, and peace out.